Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
It's the brothers from the GMS North Carolina. Came back with another video. Before we go any further, we have all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakar Double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone for teaching us the truth according to the Bible rule well. And peace and blessings to those elect of the nation of Israel. Take through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. Just gonna get into a lesson. On these nuclear missiles, these ICBM nuclear missiles, which are destined, to destroy America, to destroy Babylon the Great. Why? Because it's a Bible prophecy. Get Jeremiah. What is it, 51 and 14 or 50? Chapter 50, verse 14.
This is Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about.
Yeah, so the Lord is telling these other countries, these other, militaries with nuclear capability to put yourself in array against Babylon. Meaning, set your arrows and point them against Babylon. Babylon, according to the scriptures, being America, Go ahead.
It reads on, all ye that bend the bow.
All ye that bend the bow. Everyone with the nuclear silos, with the nuclear capability to shoot your missiles off from, where you're at in your home country all the way to America, Because some of those nuclear missiles, they can easily travel 5,000 miles. Some of them don't even have, a limit how far they can go, And they're constantly improving them day to day. They're not creating these nuclear missiles, to sit in the museum. They're creating these nuclear missiles for what? Because it's the weapons of the Lord's indignation, His righteous anger. Go ahead.
That's right. It reads on, shoot at her, spare no arrows.
Yeah, shoot at her. The Lord is commanding these armies with nuclear capability to shoot at America. And what is it gonna do when it shoots at her? It's gonna destroy America. None of them are gonna break their ranks. None of America's nuclear defense systems are gonna be able to take out these missiles. To where they're ineffective. No. The Lord said, shoot at her, spare no arrows. Go ahead.
It reads on, for she have sinned against Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Yeah, for she has sinned against the Lord. Here it is, so-called white man boasts himself that he is the Most High. He got the Most High's people in his hands. This devil is promoting wickedness across the four corners of the earth. And the Lord's going to take him out for it. Get Amos 9.
Yep. This is Amos, chapter 9, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the eyes of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai are upon the sinful kingdom.
Yeah, that sinful kingdom today being America, spiritually, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, If you look at America, sodomy, is promoted here. Here in America, sodomite can gets legal rights. He can be so-called married, in all 50 states. And what they serve these false idols, these false gods. Look at these TV shows and these movies. They're always serving a false god, promoting their democracy across the four corners of the earth. Just a bunch of lies, and Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai is not promoted here. Go ahead.
It reads on, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Yeah, the Lord is going to destroy it, from off the face of the earth. You know what? The whole earth isn't going to be destroyed, just America. Go ahead.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob.
Now the Lord, Zechariah, the Lord isn't going to destroy the whole house of Jacob. He's not going to utterly destroy them. Why? Because the Lord left a remnant, a very small remnant, which is the elect. And they are going to be the ones that get delivered out of these nuclear missiles. The Lord is going to come back and deliver them in great fashion,
Finish this out.
Okay.
Says Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Yes, saith the Lord. So these are not our words. These are not, we didn't write these words down. 14:12. So, you want to get that one?
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
This is Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass
Yep.
that in all the land, says Yahweh Shema Shai, two parts therein shall be cut off and die.
Yeah, so the Lord said he wasn't going to utterly destroy the house of Jacob, but 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that it says all the land, that land's talking about America, you got to be cut off and die. You're going to be cut off, You know what? The Lord's going to put you to death, Go ahead, bro.
But the third shall be left therein.
But the 1/3, the 144,000 and the 1/3, the multitude of believers that believe on the Lord, that's fearing him, keeping his commandments to the best of their abilities, they stop celebrating their birthday. They stop following the customs of the heathen, such as Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Easter, and they came back and served the Lord. And when it means they're going to be left there, and they're going to be left alive. They're not going to get put to death because the Lord's ultimately going to deliver them. Keep reading.
Verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire.
Yeah, so nuclear fire is coming to America, and the Lord is going to bring the third part through that fire and deliver them, That's twofold. We're going through the fiery trials now, The hour of temptation is coming upon the face of the earth. And the majority of our people, they're going to be signing their own death certificate when they take the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Why? Because they would rather trust in Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, than to trust in the God of the Bible, whom they're supposed to be fearing and serving. Go ahead, bro.
And will refine them as silver is refined.
Go ahead.
And will try them as gold is tried.
Now, if you want to take the impurities off gold and silver, you put it through the fire, So the Lord is going to make us perfect. The Lord is going to make, his people perfect, and he's going to deliver them, and he's going to finalize that perfection by delivering them, and out of this nuclear fire, and giving them their new spiritual bodies, which is going to make them perfect. Go ahead.
They should call on my name, and I will hear them.
Yeah, because scriptures say that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So when all hell is breaking loose, those that trust in the Lord, they're going to call upon his name, and the Lord's going to hear them. The Lord just said he was going to hear them. The Lord's not a man that he shall lie. So the Lord meant it, Go ahead.
I will say, it is my people.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall say, Yahweh Shema Shai is my power.
Yeah, the Lord's going to be like, this is my people that I have to save, that I have to deliver, that I'm preserving for safety. Go to the next chapter, verse 14.
Right.
Yeah. And we're going to say the Lord is our power. He's our strength. He's our shield and our buckler.
This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh Shema Shai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
Yeah, and this is the plague, So the Lord described these nuclear missiles as a plague. You have this plague that's going on now, this so-called coronavirus, this COVID-19, which is doing what it's meant to do, instill fear. It's another chess move on the chessboard, for this whole, new world order that the so-called white man has envisioned, which also means the Lord is going to put to a stop, because what's his desire? To bring the population down to 500 million, But what that means, that 500 million isn't going to include any of you Israelites, That's why the Lord's going to come and take this so-called white man out of power, Esau, Edom, according to the Bible. He wants to eradicate his people, Really, the Lord is coming back to deliver his chosen, the elect. Go ahead.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
I'm sorry, read up a little bit. Read it again from top.
Okay. This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh Shema Shai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
And who else is fighting against Jerusalem? The Lord's own people. 2/3 which have been cast off as heathens in these last days. Why? Because they don't follow the ordinance of the Lord. They don't even believe in Yahweh Shema Shai. And those who claim that they believe, their works don't follow. And faith without works is dead. So 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are fighting against Jerusalem now, the Lord's elect. And you are going to be left therein. You're going to be left in this fire to be burned. Go ahead.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Yeah, their flesh shall consume away as they stand upon their feet. Brothers always bring this out. Terminator 2, Sarah Connor. And she had the vision of the nuclear missiles being shot off. But what, in the third movie, you had John Connor bugging out. He's like, we stopped Judgment Day, And what did Arnold Schwarzenegger say? Judgment Day is inevitable, Judgment Day, World War III, these things are inevitable. They're going to happen. And they show you at the end of the movie that those things did happen. That they couldn't stop Judgment Day no matter what they did.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes.
Yeah, that's happening now. Part of their vision that they have for America. It's everyone is losing hope in this system. Really, they're speaking these things. The men of the Lord are speaking these things into existence. Because words have power. These people are basically putting curses on themselves. Man, that coronavirus is going to come to America. Oh, damn, we might have be forced lockdown, and there might not be any food on the shelves. These people, they're losing their hope in America. They're losing that vision. You got some people saying that, a Great Depression is coming. It's going to last for decades. No, the Lord is shortening the day. It's going to be much quicker than that, Go ahead.
And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
Yeah, so no more proud boasting. What we're going to do in 2020, And these things are going to, they're happening now, but they're going to be fully implemented, when the Lord brings those missiles.
I got one.
Okay.
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh Shema Shai, and the weapons of his indignation. And that's right. And that word indignation means righteous anger. And what's Yahweh Shema Shai's, righteous anger that's coming from a far country, from the end of heaven, like the brother's been going into. Those 200 million ICBM missiles. You see? That's why when you turn on your news, you constantly see these other nations, such as Russia, China, Syria, North Korea, and so forth and so on, talking about sending missiles over this way. You see? So 200 million ICBM missiles will come from a far country, from the end of heaven, to this side of the world, to America, to destroy this place. It reads on. I'm going to read that from the top again. It's Isaiah chapter 13, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh Shema Shai, and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. That's right. So what's going to destroy the whole land of this place called America? Those 200 million ICBM missiles that these other nations are going to send over to this side of the world.
Yep, exactly. What comes from a far country? What is it? That's the question. Get Ezekiel 22. You can start at 20. And it reach to 21.
This is Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 20. As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you.
Yeah, the Lord's going to melt you people. Especially the wicked of our people that are sacrificing unto false gods, false idols. The Lord's going to leave you right here in America, and he's going to melt you, That's why you got a lot of people that are in Mexico, they're fleeing to America, because the Lord just, is moving the people in the earth around to what they can get this judgment. They can get this mass judgment from the Lord.
Verse 21, yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof.
Yeah, you're going to be melted. You're going to be completely destroyed, melted. You're going to be standing upon your flesh, and it's going to melt. Just like we read in Zechariah.
Verse 22, as silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. And ye shall know that I, Yahweh Shema Shai, have poured out my fury upon you.
Yeah, so if you don't want the Lord's fury to be poured upon you, what do? You gotta repent. You gotta turn back sorrowfully unto the God of the Bible. Go ahead, you got it.
This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. And that's right. And what is that going into? That's going into your ancient wars, your ancient battles. Because that's how your ancient wars, your ancient battles were fought. With confused noise and garments rolled in blood. You see, because when you had these ancient wars, you would have one group of people on one side of the battlefield, and then you would have another group of people on the other side of the battlefield, with swords in their hands. And then next thing you know, they would take off running towards each other, screaming, hollering, yelling, making a lot of noise. And then as soon as they get to each other, the swords will be clinging, cling, cling, cling. And then the sword will also be hitting the shield, making a whole bunch of noise, from another person trying to avoid getting cut or stabbed.
People screaming.
Yep.
From getting stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
War cries.
Mm-hmm.
And
then not only that, the garments would be rolled in blood. You see, the blood would be all over their body. Blood would be all over the garments. Blood would be all on the ground. Blood would be everywhere. So again, that's how your ancient wars were fought, with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. It reads on, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. That's right. So this war, which is World War III, which is fast approaching us, it's going to be fought with burning and fuel of fire. And what's going to make that burning and fuel of fire? Those 200 million ICBM missiles, which will touch down in this place called America and make this place called America desolate, uninhabited.
Get any more than that?
That's it.
Get that second exorcism. We'll close out on that. 16 and 12, I believe, or 13. Yeah, you can start 12.
Okay. This is Second Esdras chapter 16, verse 12. The earth quake, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also be before Yahweh Shema Shai, and before the glory of his power. Verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow.
Mm-hmm.
His arrows that he shooteth are sharp.
And we just read what the arrows were. That's what we started the lesson out with, All those with the arrows, aka the nuclear capabilities. This is just going to prove it even more. That it's talking about the ICBM nuclear missiles. Go ahead.
When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world.
Yeah, there it goes again. These arrows, aka these nuclear missiles, what other thing has the capability to shoot, to be shot from one end of the earth to another end of the earth, and not only be shot from one end of the earth to another end of the earth, but as it lands, it destroys. It devours. It blows fire. Go ahead, bro.
It reads on. Behold, the plagues are sent.
Now we just read in Zechariah the plague. The plague. They shall stand upon their feet, and they shall melt, their eyes shall consume away in their holes. So this is the plagues. It said the plagues. So why? It's going to be 200 million ICBM nuclear missiles. Tells you that in the book of Revelations, I believe the 9th chapter. Go ahead.
Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth.
Go ahead.
The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth.
Yeah, so these plagues, they go out into the heavens, into the outer atmosphere, and they come back down, And what? It says, read one more time, start up a little bit.
Kind. I'm just read from 14 again.
Okay.
Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again, until they come upon the earth.
So these things, they get shot into the atmosphere, into the heavens, and they come back down onto the earth. Go ahead.
The fire is kindled.
So when they're shot and they come back onto the earth, a fire is kindled. A fire is started. What is this talking about? Go ahead.
The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundations of the earth.
So this fire is going to be great. It's a consuming fire. This fire is so great that it's going to melt the elements. Like it tells you in 2 Peter, the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Everything you see, is made of elements. Even things you can't see. Such as oxygen. those things are made of elements too. Go ahead.
Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again.
So when archer, if you watch any movie, you know, with archers in it, you know, the movie 300 or what have you, when the archer is shot, when the archer shoots the arrow, you know, there's no returning that arrow, you know, there's no returning that back to the archer unless he goes and collects it, you know. So just as those missiles, just as the missiles will be shot, you know, and there will be no returning of it, you know, until it consumed the foundation of the earth. It's going to hit its target. It's going to destroy America, you know, Israel, you know, Jerusalem is going to be destroyed, you know, but that land is going to be built back up, but America is going to be uninhabitable. Any more than that? You know, Lord's willing, you brothers are edified through the Spirit and power by Shema Shai. You want to say anything before we close out?
That was it.
You know, hey, America's going to be destroyed, so don't put your stock in Babylon the Great. You still got Jake with this whole quarantine going on, trying to build up, you know, worrying about their career in 5 to 10 years. They need to worry about the here and now, you know, because the here and now is, hey, that's what's relevant, you know. The Lord's on his way back. I don't care if you make a 5-year plan. If the Lord come back tomorrow, you know, if things hit the fan tomorrow, hey, all those plans will be for naught, you know. So, you know, continue to renew your mind, you know, day by day, you know, and continue to trust and hope in the Lord. With that, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, teaching us 100% truth according to the Bible and rule well. And peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Next time we say, Shalom.
Shalom.